Hello guys, very good morning. Welcome back and let's start. So in the last session, we discussed about the introduction to Terraform, Jenkins, Docker and Kubernetes. So what is Terraform and how we are going to work with the Terraform? These are the concepts that we have. Like, uh, what is DevOps? Actually, yesterday we discussed about what is DevOps, and now let us discuss about the concepts related to what is Terraform and how we are going to work with the Jenkins and what is a Docker and Kubernetes. Before we go into that, in the last session, we need to understand the SDLC, Software Development Lifecycle, and then we need to understand how to create the EC2 instances in AWS environment. Why? Because AWS is the platform on which we are going to work with these kind of tools. Okay, we are going to work with an infra. We need an infrastructure to be created to work with the Terraform, Docker, or Jenkins, any another tools. Without infrastructure, we cannot work. Okay, so who will be the infrastructure provider? The infrastructure provider will be the Terraform. So how it is going to happen? So what is going to happen with the Terraform? So now, whenever there is an AWS cloud environment is there, in the AWS, we will be having a region. So those who don't know about AWS, I'm talking about those who has a knowledge on AWS, that is well and good. No problem with that. So why? Because whatever the topics that we are going to cover, again, I'm repeating the same here. Whatever the topics that we are going to cover, all the topics will be covered on the infrastructure provider called as AWS, cloud infrastructure. Which infrastructure provider we will be working in? AWS. Okay. Again, there might be some people who will be saying that, so we have a knowledge on Azure, we have knowledge on GCP like that. You might have a knowledge on Azure, GCP. Both, see, every cloud is same. Every cloud functionality wise, for everything is same. But what is going to change here is the names are going to be changed. So, for example, in AWS, we will call VPC. Okay, in AWS, there is a resource which is called as VPC, Virtual Private Cloud. So, but in Azure, the same component is called as VNet. So, in GCP also the same thing will be there. And when you come to AWS, you will have the subnets. In Azure also you will have the subnets. In AWS you will have EC2 instance. In Azure you will have the VMs, virtual machines. When you come to AWS, there will be VPN configuration. When you come to the Azure, that is called as virtual network gateway. So site-to-site VPN we can configure. So like that, whatever we have in AWS, the same components will be there in the Azure also, but the naming will be different. That's it. Apart from that, there are no specific considerations that this is going to happen in this fashion or not. Okay. So the point what you need to understand for us, whenever we are working with the concepts, uh, you need to keep in mind that AWS or Azure, whatever you take, both are the same. So if you say the infrastructure we know is Azure, okay, you can know about Azure, but you can also work with the AWS environment. So that is what you need to understand here. Now, let us discuss about the infrastructure which we are going to create in the AWS environment. So for example, if I want to create an infrastructure in AWS, so what we are going to do is you need to understand the basic concept for any infrastructure that we are creating, what will be there. So in AWS, there is a concept called as global infrastructure. So region, regions will be there, and as well as you will have the subnets. Okay. So now the point what you need to understand on the subnets, availability zones. So what is meant by region and what is meant by an availability zone? These are the two things that you need to understand. So before we go into the region and understanding about the availability zones, what we used to have before AWS. Okay, let us understand. Take an example. You have an office. Okay. Before cloud environment, what we used to have an on-premises environment. what will be there inside the on-premises environment? In the majority number of the IT companies, they used to have the servers. Okay, where they used to have the servers, there will be a server room. Inside the server room, you will have the servers. Okay, just understand this. So, uh, server rooms will be there. If it is a very small company, it's a startup company, there will be server room. So inside the server rooms, there will be racks, and inside the racks, you will have the servers. Okay, multiple servers you can have, or else a single server you can have, and network equipment you will have. And if it is a very big IT company, then what you will have a data center. Okay, data center will be there. So in this data center, there will be some thousands of servers will be there. Inside that, there will be we can configure the virtual machines and all of it. Now, depending on this configuration, now what used to have here is data centers. So previously, I worked in a company where we have the data center in Hyderabad. We used to work for a banking company. So the bank will be in certain location. So this is my actual office where we used to work for. We are the system administrators. So in this office, we have the developers, like the development team will be there, and as well as we have the backup administrators, we have the system administrators. Everyone will be working from this office. So there will be a data center uh, to support that particular bank. So this data center is somewhere 1.5 kilometers distance from this office. Okay, so in Hyderabad, we used to have this data center. Inside this data center, we will be having so many servers. Okay, there will be racks. Inside the racks, there will be so many servers. Now, in the same manner, we used to have an another data center. We used to have an another data center in Jaipur location. The backup data center is there in Jaipur location, and there is a disaster recovery data center. Or else, if there is any disaster occurs, if these two data centers are down, if there is still a chance that we want to have the applications, we used to have an another data center in Bangalore. So like that, we are having multiple data centers. In every data center, we are having the servers. So here you have a server. And inside the server, we will be running an application. So the same server, we will get a replica in the backup data center, and the disaster recovery data center also we will have an another server, same server. So actual application will be coming from the end user used to access the application from this data center. Okay. So unfortunately, if the Hyderabad data center is down, we have once when I'm working, once I have an this kind of surges happen. The entire power is down in Hyderabad for one day, so our data center is totally collapsed. And then immediately, what we have done here is we have transferred the application from Hyderabad to Jaipur, so that can be done. So that is how the high availability of applications will be happening. So this is what happens whenever we used to have the data centers in the on-premises environment. So now, uh, in the same manner, in the cloud environment also, we used to have a region. We will have the regions. So in this region, what is meant by region? Any geographical location is called as a region. So where we have the AWS data centers, for example, in Mumbai, let us take Mumbai is a region. In Mumbai, we will have the AWS data centers. Now, within 60 kilometers distance, there will be an another availability zone. So now what is this availability zone? So the combination of data centers, if the data centers are very near within 1 kilometer distance. So there is a data center in what I can say, for example, if you can take this is as an availability zone, if the data centers are very close to each other, then those will be available in a single availability zone. Okay. So if the data centers are far from each other, so somewhere like a 60 to 100 kilometers of distance, then these two are considered as an availability zone. So this is one availability zone, and this is another availability zone with a distance of 60 kilometers in range, 60 to 100 kilometers range. Now, these combination of availability zones is called as a region. So when AWS is going to consider one particular region, one geographical location as a region, we need to have multiple availability zones. In multiple availability zone, we need to have the multiple data centers. So this is how a region is considered. Now, when we are considering the regions, okay, when we are considering the regions, AWS is going to take some steps. These are all the other things. Now, inside this, we will be creating a VPC. So, this, if you think this is a region, so US East one is one of the region, like North Virginia location, or else AP South one, Mumbai location, or else AP South to Hyderabad location. Like that, you will be having so many regions. Inside the region, you will have the availability zones. There will be, this is one of the availability zone inside the region. And there will be another availability zone. Like that, you can have minimum three availability zones will be there in a single region. Or else sometimes it might be in North Virginia location, you will have six availability zones. Like that, you will be having multiple availability zones that are available in the regions. So, for example, if you take this is one of the availability, I mean, this is one of the region. Inside the region, you will be having the availability zones. Now, when we want to create a VPC, so what is meant by VPC? VPC means virtual private cloud. VPC means virtual private cloud. So when we are understanding about the cloud computing, let us come back to the cloud computing. In cloud computing, we will be having three types of clouds: public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. So public, private, and hybrid. These are the three types of clouds that we are having. So when I say public, public means everyone can access. Everyone can access in the sense, for example, if you have an AWS account, you can create a server in the AWS environment. If I am having an AWS account, I can create a server in the AWS environment. Like that, anyone will be able to access the cloud, which can be accessed by anyone. That is called as a public cloud. And what is meant by private cloud? Private cloud is a cloud which can be accessed by a single organization. Try to understand the term private cloud. Private cloud means any servers or else any infrastructure that can be accessed only by a single organization or a single person, then that is called as a private cloud. Now, if you see virtual private cloud, when you're coming back to this virtual private cloud, what is meant by virtual private cloud? The private cloud, which is going to be configured inside the public cloud, and that can be accessed by a single company. I did not understand that. Let us suppose take AWS is there. AWS is a public cloud. Everyone can create the resources. For example, I have a company called as Polaris TechWorks. Okay, I have a company called as Polaris TechWorks. Now I want to create my servers in AWS environment. I can create. Why? Because I have an AWS account, I can create. So there is a rivalry company of me. Suppose there is an ABC company, which is a rivalry company of. They can also create the infrastructure in the AWS environment. Now, which will segregate that? So my entire servers, my entire infrastructure should be coming in a single. I mean, I want to create my servers. I want to create my databases. I want to create my what else I can say? Storage and everything in a single environment. So that environment is called as a private cloud, virtual private cloud, or also VPC. The network boundary in which I can create all these resources is called as a VPC. So in AWS, I'm going to create my own VPC inside which I will have the high availability of servers will be there. Okay, so how I can attain that high availability of servers? For example, this is a region. Inside the region, if I create a VPC, this is my organization VPC. Okay, so this is my network boundary or else network in which I will be creating my servers. So this is my VPC. Inside the VPC, what I can do here is I can create a subnet. So inside the subnet, I can deploy the servers. Okay, in the same manner, in the another availability zone also, I can create one more subnet and I can create a server like this. So when we are doing this, what is going to happen? In each availability zone, we will have a subnet, and inside the subnet, we will have the servers. Now, availability zones are in a distance of 60 to 100 kilometers in range. So if the server in one availability zone is down, if the server in one availability zone is down, still we can have server running in the another availability zone. So with the help of this concept, we can attain the high availability. Okay, if I am having the servers, if I am having the two servers in a single availability zone, if the entire availability zone is down, then the servers will not be available for us. But if I am having the two different availability zones and I'm having my servers in two availability zones, then we will have the servers available in the both the location. If one server is down, still we can have the access to the another server. So that what I can say, so that the application will not be having any downtime. Just for example, if I have to say, for example, you have two, you have two offices. One is in main branch and the other one is a branch location, or else main office and branch office is there. So you have servers in main office and you have servers in the branch office. Both are the same servers, the replicas you will having. For example, in the main office, all the operations are happening and the application is deployed onto the servers. In the branch office also, the same application got replicated. Now, what is going to happen? Whenever the branch office is down, you can have the application from the main office. Whenever the main office is down, you can have the application from the branch office. So, high availability of the applications will be there. So, for that reason, we are going to have the multiple backups for the single application in the multiple availability zones. So that even one availability zone is down, you can have the application from the another availability zone. So we are going to create a VPC across the region, and inside the VPC, we will have the subnets, and these subnets are nothing but the name itself saying subnets. Subnets means we are having a very big network. Inside that network, we will have the subdivisions. For example, there is a very big city with some 65,000 to 1 lakh population is there. And if I am having only single police station or a single administrative block, then what will happen? This single administrative block will not be able to hold the that 1 lakh crowd. So to do that, what we are going to do? We are going to divide the place into divisions. So this is North Division, East Division, South Division, and West Division, Central Division. Like that, we are going to division. That is nothing but dividing a city into subnets. So here also, whatever the VPC that you are seeing here, this VPC will be divided into small networks. So those are called as subnets. So this is the concept of a VPC. Inside the VPC, we are going to create the subnets. Inside the subnets, we will be creating the servers. Now, up to now, is it clear, guys? Any questions? I'm continuously talking.
Clear, clear. Thank you.
Any questions other than
Not from my end.
okay, good. Anyone having any questions, guys? Thank you, Raghu.
Yeah. So is it mandatory to create more than one availability zone?
Availability zone will be already created. We are not going to create that. We are going to create the VPC and subnets. I think your question is it mandatory to create the servers in more than one availability zone? Is
Yes.
that what your question?
Yeah.
If you want high availability of application, then it is mandatory.
Okay.
If you want to do the load balancing, then you need to have, see, if I am having a server in one only in one subnet or else only in one availability zone. If I am having a single server,
Okay.
in IT terminology, it is called a single point of failure.
Yeah.
So whenever the server is running suddenly because of any network issues or else power issues, anything can happen to the server. If the server
Mm.
is down, only in single server I am running the application. Then what it is called as it's a single point of failure. No? So the application
Yeah.
will not be available to the end customer. If the customer doesn't get the application, then what happens? then he will route to another application. Nowadays, major number of there are major alternatives are there. If Amazon is not there, I will go to Flipkart. Even if
Mm.
Flipkart is not there, I will go to some Myntra or Ajio for fashion shopping. So like that, there are so many another application, and the browsing time for an customer is also reduced. If the website is not loaded within 3 seconds, the customer will go to another website. Okay, so
Yeah.
if the company loses one customer, they might lose something. No? So I don't want to lose even a single customer. If I don't want to lose even single customer, what I have to do? I need to continuously make my application up and running. So how we can make the application up and running? By distributing the application across the multiple availability zones and as well as multiple regions. Now
Mm.
what happens? Every region customers will be able to access the application without any downtime. So for that, definitely you need to create the servers in the multiple availability zones. Clear?
Okay. Clear.
Anything guys? Swapnil, Shilpa, Sai. Okay,
No, sir.
good. So now first of all, let us create this VPC. Let us see a practical. Why? Because see, I don't know how many people know about AWS and how many people are worked with the AWS. At least you need to have a basic understanding about what is going to happen in the backend. Why? Because whenever we are discussing about the Terraform, in Terraform, we will be creating the infrastructure with the help of code. So Terraform itself is called as infrastructure as a code. When we are working with the code, at least you need to have the basic understanding how manually we are going to create the resources. Later, we can create the resources with code, okay, with the Terraform configuration. But basically, you need to understand what are these resources. No? So that's why I'm saying this. So I will go to the VPC. Okay. So if you see this is I'm going to create a VPC. VPC is a network. Simply if I have to define VPC, VPC is a network, logical network in which you can create your resources. Now, what is this network? Network is nothing but a set of place where you can have the connection between multiple devices. Network or networking means the connection of two or more devices through a media is called as a network. Either it might be wide media or wireless media. In your home, you have a computer and you have a laptop. So the laptop can be connected to your computer through wireless, and you have a another computer, one computer to another computer. I can connect it through a wide media. So any devices that are connecting through wide or wireless, then that is called as a network. So these networks can be having the IP addresses. IP addresses are the identification for your devices in that network. If you are having some 100 devices in a network, each device will get an unique identification address that is called as an IP address. Without IP address, the communication will not happen. When we are creating a VPC, so I'm going to create the VPC like, for example, okay, development VPC. Dev VPC is there. Okay, dev hyphen VPC. And the CIDR block, which I'm going to give here, CIDR. CIDR means classless inter-domain routing. So what is this classless inter-domain routing, or else what is the CIDR block in the sense? We are creating a VPC. When we are creating a VPC, we have to define the network range. What is this network range? I can give the network identification in this fashion: 10.1.0.0/16. What is this slash 16 is all about? What is this slash 16 is all about? To understand this concept, if you check in your computer, for example, I will go to my computer. In the computer, I will give IP config. When I give the IP config, this is the IP address that is assigned to my computer. and this is the subnet mask. Okay, so IP address is the address which will be helpful for identifying the computer, and it's a computer identification inside the network. This address is the computer identification inside the network. And whatever the subnet mask is there, this subnet mask will define the network portion and the host portion. Host portion in the sense, for example, if I say, let me take this first so that you won't get confused. This is the IP
Sorry,
address.
uh, hello.
Tell me,
Actually, I lost your audio for some time back. Could you please repeat regarding the subnet mask?
I'm coming to there. Okay, just hold on. So now, when we are working with the IP addresses and subnet mask is an identification that will define the network portion and host portion in your IP address. So this is the IP address, no? So this is the IP address. Now, what is the network portion? What is the host portion? What is meant by these two? For example, there is a very big institute is there, or else company is there. For example, PTV. Okay, I will take my company. Polaris Techverse company is there. Okay, Polaris Tech inside the Polaris Techverse, there are so many employees are there. So I will give employee 01. So this is the identification of the first employee. And when the second employee joins, PTV employee 02 and PTV employee 03. Like that, what I am going to do, I am going to create multiple identification for the employees. So when we are creating multiple identification for different employees, now here what is common? My company name become the common thing. Company name is common. Now when you see here, the employee identification is getting changed. So the meaning is that this is the network. This is the office. In general, if I have to define, this is the office in which the employees are working. So the network name is same, but the employee identification is getting changed. In the same manner, network portion. So this in this IP address, there will be network portions which will define where the computers are holded, or else in which network the computers are creating. So that will be the network portion. Network portion means the where computers are getting created, or else the logical environment, the logical region, the logical locality where all the computers are getting created or else connecting. That is called as a network. Now, when you come to the host portion, host means the computer identification. So inside that, there is a very big large network is there, large company space is there. Inside the company space, I am having some 100 computers. For example, the first computer will get the IP address like 192.168.0.1. Second computer will get 192.168.0.2. Third computer will get 192.168.0.3. So like that, what is going to happen? If there are some 200 computers, you are going to get the IP address. So now here, which one is going to define the computer identification? This is the computer identification. So to define that, which is the network portion and which is the host portion, your subnet mask will help the devices. So this particular subnet mask will define that wherever you are having 255, wherever you are having 255, that is the network portion. In the other ways, if I have to tell you, so if you convert this 255 into the, if you convert the 255 into the binary format. So now whatever the 255 that you are seeing here, this is a decimal number. Computers or systems cannot understand the decimal number. They will understand only the binary numbers. So if you convert this 255 into binary number format, then you are going to get like this. So this is the binary conversion of your 255. If you want to check out this, let me go to binary to decimal conversion. Here you can see. So I got the decimal number as 255. So the binary number is 8 ones. If I convert those 8 ones into decimal number format, you are going to get like this, 255. So, and if you see, if the zeros should be converted, whatever the decimal number format of zero is there, if you convert that into the binary format, you are going to get like this. Now, whenever we are working with the subnet mask, in subnet mask, one is represented as network bit, and zero is represented as the host bit. Now, if you see, this subnet mask is telling my IP address that the first three octets or else the first three portions in the IP address is called as a network portion. Why? Because all are having the once, like if you convert this to 55, in the three portions you are having the networks only. So the first three portions of the IP address is called as a network portion, and the last portion is called as a host portion. So whatever the computer identifications that we are going to get in the last portion only. So this is the IP address. This is how the IP address is going to be defined. For example, for example, there is an IP address like this 172.16.0.1 and the subnet mask is 255.255.0.0. Now, can you tell me how many network portions are there inside this IP address? How many network portions are there inside the IP address?
2.
Two network portions. So the first two are the network portions and the last two are the host portions. Okay. Now, if you convert this particular IP into binary format, you are going to get like this. Like this. So now when I have to define the slash values, this is called as slash 16, total number of network bits. How many number of network bits are there? If you see 8 network bits in first portion, 8 network bits in the second portion. So that is what we call it as a slash value. So this is slash 16. And this is, what is the slash value here in this subnet mask? Slash
24.
24. That is called as a slash value. So now if you see here, whenever I am having a network in this format, I am going to have how many devices in this network? The total number of devices here is. So how many host bits are there? Host bits defines the devices only, no? Computers or else the devices. So how many host bits are there total in this particular network? 16 host bits are there. So total number of network devices or else total number of devices I can configure in this network are 2 power 16. That is equal to 65,536 devices we are going to get. Okay, minus 2 is separate thing, but anyways. So in this network, I am going to get these many number of devices. If you see here, how many devices I can configure if the subnet mask is looking like this? 2 power 8. 2 power 8, that is equal to 256 minus 2. Okay, why minus 2? It's a separate question. It's a networking concept. But anyways, so you have to provide the minus 2. So right now we are having 256. So which means that when I am creating a subnet, when I am creating a VPC, I am going to provide the CIDR in this format. So when I provide the CIDR like 10.90.0.0/16. Inside the VPC, how many devices I can configure if I give /16 means? As per this,
65,536 minus 2.
okay, 65,000 devices I can configure inside a VPC. So here you can clearly see this. The CIDR block size must be between /16 to /28. The AWS is saying that I will accept only between 16 to 28 only. One thing you need to understand here is whenever the CIDR value, like slash value is increasing, the number of devices will be decreased. If I give slash 16, 65,000 devices we can configure. If I give slash 17, that will be 32,000, half of. If I give slash 18, then that will be 16,000. If I give slash 19, 8,000. If I give slash 20, that will be 4,000. If I give slash 21, that will be 2,000. 22, it will be 1,000. 23, it will be 500. 24, it will be 250. So if you say slash 24 means we will get 256, which means that if I created this particular big network, okay, so I'm going to create this VPC. Inside the VPC, what I'm going to do, this entire big network will be divided into small networks, and those are called as subnets. So we are going to create a subnet over here. Create subnet, and this subnet I want to create in the development VPC, and the subnet name is dev hyphen subnet hyphen 1 in the first availability zone, AP South 1, I want to create it. And the CIDR block is 10.90.1.0 slash 24. Slash 24 means how many IPs you are going to get. Here you can see 256 IPs I am going to get. So which means that from this network, we are dividing some 250 IPs to create a small network. Okay. Again, I am going to create one more subnet. This is my dev subnet 2 in the availability zone AP South 1B, and the subnet CIDR is 10.90.2.0 slash 24. So which means that again 256 devices I am taking here. So in the first subnet, I will be having 256 devices. In the second subnet, I will be having 256 devices, and create the subnets. So I just created two subnets in two availability zones. Okay. So if you see this diagram, you will understand this. So what I have done, this is my AP South 1A. AP South 1, I am having two subnets, sorry, two availability zones I have taken. That is AP South 1A, and the other one is AP South 1B. Okay. Inside that, I created a VPC in the entire region. When we create the VPC will be across the region. What is the VPC that I have created? The VPC is dev VPC with the CIDR 10.90.0.0 slash 16. So this is the CIDR. So inside that VPC, I created a subnet. What is that? 10.90.1.0 slash 24. This is the subnet. So subnet is dev hyphen subnet hyphen 1. This is the second subnet which I have created. Subnet 2, 190, 10.2.1.2.0. 10.90.2.0. This is the second subnet. These are the two subnets which I have created from that network. Now, if anybody wants to access, or else if the server inside the subnet want to access the internet, how it can access? Just understand this like your home. Okay, in your home you are having two rooms. So one room belongs to you and another room belongs to your parents or else your siblings. Okay, so two rooms are there. Inside two rooms you are having two people or two or more people is there. If they want to go outside into the public, go outside into the public in the sense if you want to meet your friend or else if you want to go for a movie. So how you can go outside? How you can go outside?
From the main door.
There will be a gate. From the gate you have to go outside, right? Or else from the main door you will be going outside. In the same fashion, if this server wants to communicate with the internet, there will be an internet gateway. So for the VPC, there will be an internet gateway. So we need to create that dev hyphen IGW. So how we can create that internet gateway? So there will be internet gateways over here. Create internet gateway, dev-igw, and attach to VPC. Which VPC? Dev VPC I'm attaching it. Done. So once we have attached it to the dev VPC, now we need to tell the servers, whatever the servers that are getting created inside the subnet, we need to tell the servers that if the servers wants to communicate with the internet, or else if the people from the internet wants to communicate with the servers, any which ways. So the server wants to communicate with the internet, or the persons from the outside wants to communicate with the server. We need to give the route for that. Internet. Okay, we need to specify the route. How we are going to specify the route? It's very simple. See, you want to go to a destination. If you want to go for a trip, you are planning for a trip, you want to go for a destination. So now source is some X and destination is some Y. So first of all, you are going to check out the road map or route map. So from here I have to start and up to here I have to travel. From there I have to travel to this destination. There will be routing will be there. In the same manner, now there is a server which is inside a subnet. If this server wants to know how to reach to the internet, then what we have to do? We have to specify the route table. Here you can say there is a route table. So by default, whenever we create a VPC, automatically with the VPC, you will have a default routing table will be created. So when I create the VPC, inside the VPC, there will be a default routing table. This is the default routing table. For example, this is my dev-RTB. So this is my default routing table. Inside this, I need to specify the routes. Already one route is there. What is the route? Local communication. Whatever the devices that are created within the VPC, they will communicate with each other. Okay. So if I am having some 100 servers inside the VPC, one server will communicate with the another server. We don't need to specify any route or else any networking over here. So everything will be able to communicate with each other. Now, for example, if this server wants to communicate with the internet, then we are going to specify the route. How we are going to specify the route? Now, in the routes, edit routes, 0.0.0.0, which means that this is the IP address of internet. Simple. Any device, 0 represents any device anywhere. Okay. So if the server has to communicate with the internet, then the communication will happen through internet gateway. So the server should reach out to the internet gateway. From the internet gateway, it will be reaching to the internet. I have specified the route. I just specified the route, and whatever the subnets that are connected to this route will follow the same routing. If I connect the subnet 1, then it will follow the route table, whatever the route table that I have specified. So the servers inside the subnet will also try to connect to the internet. So I need to specify the subnets over here. Edit subnets. I'm going to add both the subnets and save the association. So inside inside the subnets, whatever the servers that are creating, they know the route for the internet. Okay, so inside, why? Because we have connected subnets into this routing table. As inside the routing table, we are having the route to the internet. So the servers which are created inside this subnets will know the route for the internet. So that is how we are going to create a route over here. Okay, understood? Any questions here up to now? Any questions?
Nope.
Okay, fine. Now, the servers will know the route to access the internet, and the people who are there on the internet, or else the clients who are there on internet, they can access the servers. Now, when they are accessing the servers, they will request some data. So the data will be an incoming data for the servers. So whatever the data that is coming into the servers, that is called as an incoming data or inbound. So whatever the data that is going outside of the servers, those are called as outbound data. So now you tell me which data is dangerous, incoming data or outgoing data?
Incoming.
For any incoming, if you go to a shopping mall, so there will be a security guard who will be thoroughly checking you when you are going inside the shopping mall. Or else when you want to fly, okay, when you go to an airport, there will be multiple security check-ins. At the beginning, there will be a security check-in, and when you go inside, there will be another security check-in. Thorough check-ins will be there. So which means that who are entering into the airport is dangerous than who are leaving from the airport. So the incoming traffic is dangerous. So I need to put a security guard. So for that reason, we are going to have security groups. So here you are going to have a security groups. Security groups are configured for the what I can say, security groups are configured for the servers. Okay. So here I am going to create DevSG. Already a security group is created when we create the VPC. So this is the security group. Okay. Here in the inbound rules, you have to allow particular traffic. For example, this particular protocol I want to allow. This particular protocol I don't want to allow. So as of now, I'm going to allow all traffic, but later we will see all traffic from anywhere. Simply, I'm going to give like this. Done. So now if you see what we have configured, this is very important. In Terraform also, we are going to configure the same. First one, we created the VPC, and then we have created the subnets, and then we created the root table, internet gateway, and then root table, and then security groups. So these are all the things we have modified and we managed. So if you want to create a EC2 instance, you need to have 5 things very important for creating the EC2 instance. What are those? The first one is AMI, Amazon Mission Image, nothing but like an operating system. And the second one is instance type, which type of instance you want to deploy. Key pair. Key pair is very important. What is meant by key pair? We will discuss about that. Fourth one is subnets, in which subnet we want to create the server, and the fifth one will be the security groups. So among this, we have configured the subnets and security group. We have created a place to create the servers. Now, what is this key pair? The name itself says that key pair. Pair means how many numbers or else how many objects will be there. Pair means. I am not asking any technical question, guys. I am asking a generalized question. What is meant by pair? Thanks.
Pair
Pair
is a
means
combination.
it's two. Two things will be
No.
there. Two objects will be there. Okay. So what will be there in a key pair? For example, when you purchase a lock, if you purchase a lock, you will only get the lock, or else you will get lock and key. If you purchase a lock, you are going to get lock and key. No, that's a key pair. Now, when you are inside your home and you are doing your work, suddenly your friend called you. It's a weekend. Let's have some weekend party. Come to our room. We will binge watch some web series and all the things he said. And you are going outside of your home. Now, what you are going to do? You will lock your home and go. When you lock your home will have the lock and you will carry the key. Okay. The key will be privately configured, which means that the key will be with you only. You will not give the key with some another person. See, the key will be with you only. And whatever the lock that you are seeing here, that lock is publicly visible. So when somebody comes to your home and see the lock, they will understand that the person is not there in the home. But what about the key? The key will be only with you. It will not be given to any another person. So that's a private property. Lock is a public property. In the same manner, when I say key pair, there will be two keys are going to be generated. One is the public key and the other one is called as a private key. Public key will be always with the server. Private key will be always with the user. Okay. When we create a key pair, the public key will be always with the server and the private key will be always with the user. Without private key, we will be not able to log in into the server. If I want to unlock if I want to unlock the lock, then definitely you need to use the key which is with you. If you forgot or else if you lost the key, then you have to break the lock. Okay. Here also the same thing will happen. So whatever the private key that is generated, if you lost the private key, even AWS cannot retrieve that. So you need to break that. How you have to break that? That is an altogether a different concept here. But the point is, so key pair means two keys will be generated. One will be called as a public key, which will be always with the server, and the other one is called as a private key. Sorry, private key will be always with the user. Okay, let's create a key pair here. So we are about to create the EC2 instances. EC2 instances. Before we go to the instances, let me create a key pair. Create key pair. I will make like dummy underscore key. Select .pem version, not PPK. PPK is used for your 40 sessions, but I am not going to use the PPK. I will use the PEM format only and create the key pair. When I create the key pair here, you can see a key has downloaded into my system, into my computer. So which means that the dummy key is the private key, which is always with the client. And here you can see there is a key which is always with the server. So when I'm going to create the EC2 instance, okay, dev-server. What is my first requirement? We need to have an AMI, Amazon Mission Image. Okay, so we have selected the AMI as Amazon Linux. So this is the operating system which I am selecting here. And later we need to select the instance type. I will go with the free tier eligible instance. So if the instance type changes, so for example, if you want some high range, like T3 large, T3 double X large. So here you can see 8 CPU, 32 GB of RAM is there. So you can select like this. The resources will be increased. If you change the instance type, the resources will be increased or decreased. So I will go with the free tier eligible only. And the key pair is dummy key pair. I will use this dummy key pair. And where I want to create this EC2 instance, I want to create the EC2 instance in the development VPC in the development subnet. And here you can see public IP is required. So if you want to access the server, definitely you need to have the public IP. Without the public IP, you cannot access it. Okay, so here we need to configure the public IP. Select already we have the security group configured. So default security group. Here you can launch the EC2 instance. That's it. We have our EC2 instance running and we can access that EC2 instance. To access that, what I will do here, to log in into my development server, I need to have the public key. I need to have the private key. Already the server is having the public key within inside it. So I need to have the private key. Already the private key is downloaded into my computer. So here you can see, I will go to PowerShell, CD downloads. Inside the downloads I am having SSH-I dummy key.pem. So this is what the key pair which got downloaded into my computer, and EC2-user. So this is the username, default username for Amazon Linux. Okay. At the rate, I will provide the public IP. When I provide the public IP, I will be logging into my server. So here you can see I just logged into my Amazon Linux 2023, which is 1091.173. This is the server ID. And this is how you can log in into the servers. So in AWS environment, this is how you can create the EC2 instance. If you want to create the EC2 instance, the five things are necessary. Before creating the EC2 instance, you need to have a network that is called as VPC. Inside the VPC, we are going to create the subnets. Inside the subnets, we will be creating the servers. And if the servers want to access the internet, we need to have the internet gateway and routing table. And if someone want to access the server, there should be a security groups. So these are all the concepts that should be in line so that you will be able to access the servers and create the servers. Okay. So this is the concept how you can create the servers. This is the basic. Why I'm telling all these things means if you want to create Jenkins, or else if we want to run the Jenkins application, CI/CD pipelining tool. First of all, we need to have that infrastructure. So you need to understand how we can create the infrastructure. If I want to create, if I want to have the Terraform, I want to create the VPC, I want to create the subnets. So right now we have created it manually. Manually, we created the VPC. Manually, we created the subnets. Manually, we have configured the routing tables. Manually, we created the EC2 instance. If I want to do the same with the Terraform, automate the entire configuration with the Terraform, then definitely you should understand what is a VPC, what is a subnet, what is the routing tables. And in Docker also, if you want to run the Docker application, we are going to create the EC2 instances. If I say create an EC2 instance and install the Docker, how you will understand that, how this VPC got created, how this EC2 instance got created. So to make you understand, this is the basic setup which should be there. So that's why I said you in this session. From next session, we will start working on the Jenkins. So how to create the Jenkins application, high availability of Jenkins. So tomorrow also you will have a demo. That is the last demo. With tomorrow's demo, we are going to close the demos and then we are going to dive into the main concept of Jenkins, Terraform, Docker, and Kubernetes. So how many days it is going to take? So the entire concept will cover 30 days, minimum 30 days. So what are the concepts that we are going to cover here? Terraform, Jenkins, uh, Docker, and Kubernetes. So these are the concepts that we are going to cover in the 30 days. I am saying it 30 days. It won't be 30 days. It will be going like around 35, 35 hours of training, 35 to 40 hours of training. In between that, you are not going to have any sort of holidays, guys. Okay, no holidays. Saturday weekends also you won't have any offs. In weekends you will have the double burden. Okay, we will be having 2 hours of sessions. So the point what you need to understand here is, so whatever the 1 month of training that you are going to get, that will be purely helpful for your interview preparation. So who are here to prepare for the interview, it is a very good chance for you to crack the interview. And one more thing here is we will be discussing the topics very, very cleanly and very in deeply. So we are not going to cover the topics only with the basics. We are going with a high level configuration with all the topics, right? So Terraform will take some 7 days, 7 to 10 days. Let us take some 10 hours. And Jenkins will take some 5 to 6 hours. And Docker will take some 7 hours. I'm talking in the hours, not in the days. And Kubernetes will take some 20 hours. Okay, total, if you see 43 hours of sessions will be there. How we are going to cover in 30 days, that I will see. Okay, so this is the entire concept. So the tentative date of your closure, I'm giving you the batch closure will be by January 5th. Don't expect any, like what I can say, January 4th or January 5th. Don't expect any sort of, what I can say, leaves. Christmas holidays, New Year holidays. There are no Christmas and there are no New Year holidays are there. Every day you will have the session. Unfortunate incidents may happen. At that particular time only, I am going to give you a leave. Otherwise, you won't have any leaves. Continuously, we'll have the session. The session timings will be from 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. IST. Okay. Already I have given the syllabus. You are going to get the videos and documents, but don't miss the sessions. Even you are getting the videos and documents in some sessions, I won't be uploading the code into your drives. I will give you the GitHub link. We will create the Terraform code and I will upload the Terraform code into the GitHub. From there, you have to download it. So why I am saying, actually, I can provide the entire code into your drive, but the people will not attend the sessions. If you don't attend the sessions, then why you are paying for the live sessions? So I request you to attend the live sessions. So you are going to get some GitHub links, some more configurations of it. So don't miss out the sessions. And what else? That's it. So this is about your entire sessions and how we are going to work with this. If you have any further questions, you can ask me now. Questions, please.
I have a question.
Go on.
So, yeah, so the demo will finish tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow, the actual class will start. Like the
We start from
continuation.
Monday. Monday.
Okay.
Demos will complete tomorrow, and from Monday onwards, you will have the continuous sessions.
Okay. Thank you.
Right. Anything else, guys? Okay then. So have a nice day, and we'll meet in the next session. Tomorrow we will have a session, and we'll wind up the demos tomorrow, and then we'll go ahead into the main concepts. Tomorrow, don't miss out the session. Who are interested in learning Jenkins? Tomorrow is the starting of your Jenkins configurations, and we are going to discuss about the high available Jenkins cluster. So how to create the highly available Jenkins cluster, primary and standby Jenkins server, how to configure that, and how we are going to work with the Jenkins config. So these are the things that we are going to see in the next session. So don't miss out any session. Okay. Have a nice day, and we'll meet in the next session.
Thank you. Have a nice day, you too. Bye-bye.